Well, hello, Harvest. It's great to have you aboard. As you're signing on, let us know that you're here. We'll looking forward to sharing with you a little bit about what's going on. So welcome. Please sign in the live chat and let me know that you're listening. I would love to say hello to you. So we'll have lots of people jumping on. You can ask your questions. If you have questions, just put them in the chat there, and we'll try and get them answered. We don't promise to answer all of them. Some of them will be answered as we go through our time here. We're looking forward to sharing with you. We have some great news and looking forward to it. Hey, Jordan, great to see you aboard. Thank you for joining us. We're looking forward to sharing with you what's happening this week in our eBulletin. And thank you, by the way, for joining us. We're glad that you're here. A little bit of a different week. It's been a little bit colder for sure. But hey, Jeannie, welcome aboard. Hello, Griffin family. Glad that you're with us. Thanks for joining us. We're looking forward to sharing with you what's happening, and thanks for signing on. If you're joining us, please sign on in the chat so we know you're here, and looking forward to sharing some good news with you, and we're answering any questions that you might have. If you just put them in the chat box, we'll try and get to them at the end of our time here. Thank you for joining us. We're glad to have you aboard. More and more will be joining us as we go along, so that's great. It's good to have you here. I hope you've had a good week. It's been, it hardly seems possible that it was just Easter on Friday and then Sunday, and the week has gone fast. It is going. Somebody likes my poster. Thank you, Jeannie. I have a puzzle upstairs with lots of Mustangs on it too. So welcome. We're glad that you're joining us. We're looking forward to sharing our e-bulletin with you. It comes out in by email tomorrow. And so any information that you kind of miss as we're going through things, you can pick up tomorrow. So we want to get to you the information that you need to keep up to date and to join us in some of our endeavors, the things that we're starting up. We've got a couple of new things that are going to be happening that we want to share with you. We're pretty excited about, and I don't want to spoil all the things that are coming up. So Pastor Todd has a look at some things coming up too. So we're glad that you're with us, and please sign in our chat so that we know you're here. Also, any questions that you want us to answer, if something comes up and you just have a question, type that in there and we'll try and answer that near the end of our time here. Good. Well, how are things going for you? How many are trying on the next challenge, the sweater challenge? I heard that some pics have already been posted on social media, and the number apparently is pretty cool. So I don't know what I would look like wearing like more than one sweater. I have one on. I'm in my basement. It can be a little cool down here, so I'm dressing up. So thanks for joining us. We're glad that you're watching. Let us know you're here by signing on in the chat. Hello, folks, and we're glad that you're with us. We are looking forward to sharing with you this week some upcoming things, events, ways that you can get involved. There's lots going on, and so we're glad that you're with us. We're going to be going live in just a few minutes with Pastor Todd, and so thanks for signing up and coming and joining us here. I imagine we'll get a whole bunch joining up right as we're getting going, so thank you. We'll be getting started in just a little bit. So we have a number of people watching. Please sign in on the chat so I know you're here. I can say hello, and any questions that you have, make sure that you put them in there. So as you're joining us today, maybe you're eating supper. Thanks for coming online with us, and we just want to share with you some of the stuff that's been coming up, a little bit about what's been happening, and a lot about what's coming up. And so it's going to be good to share with you. So thank you for your comments from last Sunday. We're going to be talking a little bit about that. We're going to be, like I said, thank you so much again for sharing your prayer requests. Lots of prayer requests coming in. Thank you for filling out the Connect folder. We'll have more to say about that. But I so appreciate people sharing the things that concern them. And then as things happen, thank you for connecting with us. We were able to connect with a few people and pray with them about things that are happening. So we're about to get started here, and Pastor Todd's going to join us, and we're going to be going over a few things here. So we'll be counting down shortly and going over our things.
Hey, Raj.
Hey, Pastor Todd. Great to see you.
Good to see you. How you doing?
I'm well, thank you. What's that hat
Good.
you're wearing?
Dallas Cowboys. Is it the Cowboys hat? That's the Cowboys hat.
Okay, you should have left it on.
I know the hair is getting super, super long, and yeah, there's more hat days than non-hat days.
Wow.
I'm getting wings too here.
It is a challenge, isn't it?
It is, but that's fine. It's a pretty minor one by comparison to what some other people are dealing with. And but anyways, Harvest, it's great to have you tuned into the EB Live here. And it's hard to believe, it's week 6 of the COVID-19 lockdown. We have 5 weeks of live stream services behind us, and ministry done in a whole different way. In some ways, I think after 5 weeks, we seem like we're pretty pro at this now, but we're still learning and growing every single week with all of this. And our staff team, our elders are super blessed by what we're seeing happening in our church family these days.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, we're getting some great feedback. I was just sharing with someone today, they're having trouble getting through to companies and stuff. And some of those companies have been doing like online stuff for years, and yet we just started with live stream, and we feel like we're doing a great job, and others do too. Here's some comments that we just recently got from our Easter services. One person said, "How wonderful to live stream the service this morning, and how amazing that with everyone in their own homes, we could worship together. And the singing at the end was wonderful, with everyone singing from their own homes. What an incredible experience." And so that was great. And then someone else said, "Awesome Sunday, great job. Jeannie was great." We heard that comment over and over again. Jeannie is great. And so the whole team was awesome. And then they said this, "Can't wait to worship together again."
Yeah, and that was the phrase that kind of caught me as well, because as great as live streaming is and helping us in a pretty significant way to continue to gather for worship in that unique way and to connect with people in ministry, we're bridging a gap right now, but it's not a substitute for the church being the church gathering. That's what God intends for the church to be, together in a room. And we're praying that day comes again soon. But I love the longing that was in that phrase. And again, whenever I think about being back in the room together, I hear these worship songs, and I'm still thinking about how awesome it's going to be to sing these songs together and pray together and hear God's word together and see our faces again. It's going to be pretty great. And I do want to say this too. I think that was one of the big wins of Good Friday, was that in those rooms, the members of the church got to see each other. And live streaming on Sunday, you don't get that advantage. We have the chat, but we don't get to see each other. And all those different rooms, those 7 rooms where people gathered on Good Friday, with you and Jordan and Dwayne leading each of those really moving services. But people got to see each other. And I popped into all the rooms all 7 of the rooms at different times, just to see faces and to see names. And that was just really, that just was heartwarming. It was awesome, but it made me long even more for the day that we're going to be back together again.
It does make us long for that. But in the meantime, we're doing some great things, and we've got another opportunity for the whole church that literally we've never had before. I'm excited to tell you about this. Awana, you may not be aware, but our Awana Club has continued right along in a modified format, of course, for the past several weeks. So kids, one more week to get your Awana books done. Wednesday, April 22nd is the last night. And then you'll need to get ready. Everyone will need to get ready for this. Our live streamed year-end celebration of Awana on Wednesday, April 29th at 6:30 p.m. You can all tune in and receive your book awards. In fact, the whole Harvest family can come to this event. That's never been possible before. And so that never happens. And so Wednesday, April 29th, 6:30 p.m., everybody can tune in for our Awana Awards night. And as Jeannie says, it's going to be so fun. So fun.
Wow. And that's the second mention that Jeannie's gotten in this live stream already. She's getting a lot of mentions.
Well, she was incredible on Easter. She's Jeannie.
She's Jeannie, right? All right. Also, word on the cyber street is that there's a new youth website.
Yes. Our Harvest Youth website is live now. Head over to hyberry.com for all things Harvest Youth, including an ever-growing list of resources for your students to continue their spiritual growth and development throughout this period of physical distancing that we're in. So our students will also be voting. This is important. Our students will be voting on questions they and their peers submitted that they want to see answered in our Big Questions series. That's going to be a great series coming up in May, June. And parents of Harvest, make sure that you keep your eyes out for an email that will be coming with a list of resources you can utilize as you continue to disciple and lead your kids. Very important time right now, and we want to provide you with lots of resources. So Jordan has put this together. It's going to be great. So head over to hyberry.com for all things Harvest Youth. It's going to be
great. Of course, Harvest Youth is live streaming on Tuesday nights. Youth is still gathering. They're still getting together with their leaders. Their leaders are connecting with them in each of their small groups. And so that ministry, like Awana, like Harvest Kids, still rocking. You guys are doing some things in biblical soul care as well. The ministry is still functioning, just it's not functioning at 7 George Street. That's all.
True.
All right. So, Roger, the thing is, you are old enough. You are old enough to remember TV Guide. In fact, I would say that you're probably old enough to remember Radio Guide.
Wow. I actually don't recall ever a radio guide. We just kind of turned the handle and saw whatever came up.
But Joel said you're old enough to remember Carrier Pigeon Drive or Homing Pigeon Drive guide.
Yeah, no, not quite. I do remember TV Guide though, and so
the point is you're old.
I'm the youngest 60-ish person you know.
Beautiful. So, I love it.
I do remember TV Guide. For those who don't know, TV Guide was an actual paper guide. It was a supermarket rack staple. Everybody bought the TV Guide at the store and took it home, and it was like a little magazine, and you read through it, and you had to have that in order to know what TV shows were on any particular night at any particular time. And so the only way to find out when Gunsmoke was on was look in the TV Guide, unless, of course, you just watched it every week and you knew when it was on. But the TV Guide now it's just like on your TV. You just like, that's what I've heard anyway. People that actually watch TV. And so we've come up with our own TV Guide, and it will be the one-stop location for everything that we put online, everything we've put together. So it's kind of like a TV Guide, only it's not paper. It's like an online.
The guide. It's just a guide.
It's a guide. So you can find that at hbc.info/guide.
Yeah.
Guide,
Yeah.
as in like tour guide or trekking the Amazon guide, that kind of guide. So hbc.info guide, like TV guide.
Slash guide. Yeah. And it's going to have the live stream listings there, but it's also going to have listings to our on-demand stuff as well. Because after, like this, for example, this is live right now, but we're going to upload it as an on-demand feature so people can watch it, tonight, tomorrow, Saturday, before we get together again on Sunday. So both the live stuff and on demand are there. So in the old TV guide, this would have been like a new episode as opposed to reruns, right?
Right, right.
So
This is great
yeah,
for a new episode. So,
yeah,
and listen, we've got some other stuff going too, though. Online is our resource page. So our quarantine lockdown resource page, where we want to put as much into your hands as possible, is at harvestberry.ca/resources. It's now online with links to all kinds of sources of entertainment, teaching, music, and more. So take advantage of this. Come back often. We're going to be updating it with new information and new resources. And hey, we know that you have access to all kinds of things. You're watching things, you're finding things. You're saying, hey, man, I watched this. It was so great. I want you to you should check this out. Well, hey, you can help us by just sending us an email at resources@harvestberry.ca. So email
yeah,
us if you find a great resource. We'll vet it because we don't trust everything that you send us. And but we want to update that with as much content as possible, things to help us during this time, things that would probably have helped us before, but
yeah.
we need lots of stuff. So resources at harvestberry.ca to send that to us, or go to harvestberry.ca/resources. Find stuff to help.
Yeah, there's some really good stuff there that our pastors and directors have put together that I think is going to be a huge benefit. All right, let's talk about the Connect form. So when we were in person worshiping at 7 George Street, we would take the black folder. We would say this every week, and we pass out that down each row, and people would fill that in. And we have a really, really good return rate. As I talk to other pastors about how successful they are at getting people to fill that form in, like our church, we're super successful. We think around a 90% completion rate on that Connect form every week. But since we have not been together in person, the return rate on the Connect form has gone down relative to the number of people that are actually participating in the services on Sunday. And so let's talk about that a little bit, Roger.
Yeah. So the way to actually fill that in is when you sign on to the live stream, you sign in through hbc.info. Well, if you just connect there and scroll down a little bit, you can find our Connect form, and we want you to fill that out still. And there's the same as it was before. You can put in your prayer requests, and we want to pray for you. We have a team that wants to pray for you, but we need to know you're here. So we're asking that you go there, and so that we can you can fill that out, so we can track with you. That's how we track with you and follow up on extended absences, as well as process information that you share with us or prayer requests. So some of you probably got an email from Dwayne saying, hey, we haven't seen you in 4 weeks. And that's probably not true. You've seen us at least because you've signed into the live stream, but you have not filled out the Connect form. And we really need you to do that. And so we want you to fill it out so we can follow up with you and make sure that you're good. This is how we connect. This is how we follow up. And so please go to hbc.info and fill out the Connect form every time. So Todd, there's going to be some changes probably about that when we get back together.
Well, yeah, I think this whole exercise is really helpful for us in the sense that we're already making preparations, like putting plans in place for when we can have our staff working at the office again, and when we can start using the main facility again for even smaller meetings, and then stepping it up into worship service. We've just started putting that plan together as a staff. So we are planning for the return of in-person worship gatherings of the church. And of course, we're going to wait for word from the provincial government on that. But in the meantime, as we develop this stage plan for coming back together for worship, that relates to kind of the Connect form and how we've been doing that, passing that folder, and also passing the offering bag, and how we do communion. All of these things in a first step of coming back together, we have to rethink how we do that, because all of those involve passing something, and we want to be careful about that physical distancing and the passing of things and all of that. So it's likely, as that relates to the Connect folder, it's likely that in our first stage, we won't be passing the Connect folders at all. But we have this ability to go on our smartphones and fill it in. So what we're going to be asking you to do when we do get back together for worship is, hey, take out your smartphone right now, go to hbc.info, fill in the Connect form right now, let us know that you're here. And that actually creates less work for us because we're not dealing with a lot of paper now. We're going to be able to take that data a lot faster and respond to it a lot more quickly than we have in the past, because it's automating at least part of all of that. And also, as it relates to the offering baskets, the bags that we pass, we're not going to be passing those anymore. We've got boxes on the back wall already installed in the back wall of the worship center where our offerings are going to go. Those of you who are still giving, which is only about 20% of our offerings come in-person giving, and a lot of you have already migrated over to online giving. So we're not sure what the percentage is going to be, but those boxes are available for those who prefer to put a check in or put cash in on Sunday mornings, and those get emptied and taken care of in the proper ways. So I think this is getting us ready for that more fully automated Connect form. So fill it in now, please. The bottom line on start doing it now, fill in hbc.info, the Connect form, and that's going to be super helpful to us. All right, let's talk about these. Yeah.
Wait a minute. I'm just excited because when we get back together, we're going to ask everybody to pull out their smartphone and fill in the Connect form. And at the same time, because they're going to be really out of practice, we can say, and make sure that your ringer is off, because that's something that we kind of haven't missed. Things going off, although it does happen here sometimes still. So talk about being connected. We want to share with you about our harvest communities. This is really important. We've been talking about 18 new community groups that we formed along geographic lines. Essentially, we're covering most of Simcoe County with a care net in order to reach out beyond our church, as well as to care for those who are part of our harvest family, but not in one of our small groups. So this is a brand new initiative for us. It was sparked by COVID-19 and the need to ensure everyone is cared for in a way that is sustainable. And so we decentralized care by pushing it out to all these groups. So that we understand it well, let me explain what the harvest community groups are and are not. So community groups are a strategic way to organize our entire church body, even those who are already in small groups. So this is for everybody, not if you're in a small group, that's great. We want you in a small group. We want everybody in a small group. But some people are not, but we still need to care for them. And so it's for everybody, whether in small groups or not in small groups. It's a strategic way to organize our entire body. It's a place for anyone, and this is important, especially for new people in our church, to identify, communicate, and engage with other believers and other members of our family here. It's an experimental move because as we adapt to the times and the technology, we're trying new things, and we're going to see if this is actually helpful. And I think we'll find clearly it is. Will it be the best way or the way we keep doing it? We'll probably keep doing it in some way. And so we're adapting and trying things, and that's always great. And finally, it's an opportunity for our church to learn to minister together, to bless each other, but beyond that, to bless the city and the region. And so during the COVID-19 lockdown, we'll be asking community groups to help meet practical needs as appropriate when they arise in that geographical area. So we need people here, we need people there. And so that's what these community groups are for, is to spread a care net throughout the whole of Simcoe County, everywhere we reach, so that we are including as many people as possible, everybody that's connected to us, and then helping them support the people around them. So it really is an outreach as well. Community groups are not a replacement for being part of a small group. We still want you to get into a small group. And secondly, they're not a place to promote business or market goods. This is where we care for one another, not where we sell things. And so just we want to encourage you to make sure we're using it properly. That's what it's for. So who can join? Currently, all community groups are completely open, easy to join by going to hbc.info/communities. Select from the community group that covers your area where you live. And there are 18 to choose from. And if you don't have a clue where you live, which is hard for me to believe, but if you don't know, we have people who can read maps and help you. So we can tell you which group you belong to. So
Yeah.
go to hbc.info/communities and join up. We want everybody to join this, everybody.
Yeah, that's great. And I think it's a great new idea. It's another layer of care, and it has tremendous potential down the road. It's so new right now. We're still forming ideas around it, but I think it has just incredible potential to help reach our greater community in this massive county that we live in here as well. So, all right, Roger, another way that we do care is through our Hope Fund, and just say a word or two about that, because I know that's really under your oversight.
Yeah, well, thank you. You guys have been so generous to the Hope Fund over the past several weeks. We're in a good position to help those who are facing financial struggles as a result of job loss and stuff. We've helped people already, by the way, and thank you for allowing us to do that on your behalf. We're really doing it on your behalf. And so if you need help or know somebody who does, please let us know by emailing care@harvestberry.ca. And we want to help, and we have the ability to help. I don't think that we've really hit the crisis yet. I think that it's coming as people begin to fall behind more and more. And so thank you for beefing up our Hope Fund, so we are going to be able to help. Let us know if you need help. Don't be afraid to ask, or you know somebody that needs help. Care@harvestberry.ca is where to email, and we'll get on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you.
No, that's awesome.
So Todd, our Hope Fund is in good shape. What about our other finances?
Yeah, I think our finances are in good shape, but I did want to bring a brief financial report and staffing report, because I think people are wondering about this, and we are working hard on this behind the scenes. And we've anticipated, like, churches, I think, are in better shape than nonprofits, ministries out there that are not local church but parachurch. I think they're really going to struggle with their donor bases, and I've talked to some directors of some ministries just to see how they're doing. But the staff has worked really hard in anticipation of any reduction in giving we're going to see by trimming our ministry budgets. Pretty much we have gutted our ministry budgets down to almost nothing. We've gotten some relief from our lenders on our first and second mortgages, and we've made a couple of adjustments to our staffing that were necessary. Now, I'm going to come back to that topic in just a moment. But we have cut our weekly budget. I'm going to give you a few numbers here. And all of this is going to be in the published EB that's going to come out tomorrow with this video, and also with all the content written out. But we've cut our weekly budget need from just over $27,000 a week, which was our 2020 budget. We've cut that down to $23,600, and that's about a 13.5% reduction in our budget. And what we're really grateful about is, even though that we set the budget now at around 23,000, we've actually in the last 5 weeks brought in more than $26,000 a week, which just really reflects the faithful, generous giving that is really the character of our church and people in our church. And thank you for continuing to give as you have been giving. I know it takes faith to do that. I know that there's a temptation to kind of circle the wagons and hold on a little bit tighter, but your faithfulness has really been super helpful to us, and we're grateful for that. It allows us to do what we do and to lead in the way that we're leading, and to serve our church family, and really carry on with what Christ has entrusted to us here at the church. And so thank you for that. Now, you may be wondering, having said all of that, you may be wondering if we qualify for any of the federal government subsidies that have been talked about. And the answer to that is yes and no. It's both. We do qualify for the very first one that the Prime Minister talked about very early on. And we're going to see about $10,300 come our way in the form of credits. But because you've been so faithful in your giving, we do not, our income, our revenue has not dipped below the threshold that the government has set. So we do not qualify for the larger 75% compensation subsidy that the Prime Minister has spoken about. So we're going to get the one, about $10,000, but we're not going to get more than that. And so we had to make some, we have had to make some difficult decisions regarding staff as a result of the change in how we're doing ministry now. And the first area where we had to take a look was and make a move was we reduced our office manager admin role to 1 day a week. It was 4 days a week. Of course, our office is open 5 days a week, but we had Victoria Cochran has been in this role working a maternity leave that is Emily Corus's job. She's scheduled to come back in May, but we've taken that job now from 4 days a week down to 1. And so that role is still processing all the information that comes to us from the Connect forms on the weekend, and producing a report for us and the prayer list and all of the content that comes out of the weekend. But all the other part of the job was office management, and our office is not open, and so that job just was not necessary. Secondly, we ended Jenna Wicken's employment with us as of this Friday, tomorrow, April 17th. And Jenna has been serving as the part-time admin support for children and youth. And again, a lot of the support work that Jenna was giving to Jordan and to Jeannie was about the in-person ministries that we were doing on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Sundays. And because we're not doing that, the support was just not needed in the same way. And so Jenna has been a valued member of our team. She is loved. We're going to miss her energy and enthusiasm in our office and on our team, I know. So that's heavy news to have to deliver, but we really felt both of those moves were necessary in order to trim our budget down to where we needed it to be in light of some of the circumstances we've been facing. And I'll just say this, that our board, our elders have been very active in monitoring this situation. And we are prepared to act quickly to respond to any changes that we might see in the giving patterns in our church. Right now, everything's in a pretty good place, and we're pretty grateful. And as usual, whenever we talk about any of these things, anything we've talked about here, and we are going to see if there are any questions at the end of this. If you have any questions about our finances, email Wendy Brower. She's our financial director, our finance director. The information's on our website, harvestberry.ca/give. And if you go to that spot, you're going to be able to see her email address, how to contact her and send a question to her. So that's the finance report.
Okay, good. Thank you. Well, we got some other new things starting. And so, Todd, you're going to be hosting a new prayer gathering. We've had lots of people questioning about prayer and how can we pray together. And so you're going to be starting a new prayer gathering starting next week. What's that going on?
Yeah, I mean, we have been praying. Obviously, we still have our Prayer Matters bulletin that goes out. We have we still have all the prayer requests that are coming in from the weekend, and we're praying through all of those. Our staff is praying. Our elders are praying. We know that prayer has been a pretty high priority in the small groups that are gathering, and I've heard that there's been some pretty great prayer times, in fact, that have happened in Zoom rooms and Google Hangouts and all of that. And we're really grateful for all of that. We've gotten through the first 5 weeks of doing this and doing ministry in a whole different paradigm. But we knew we wanted to do this. And so this is the right time to kind of start this and get people together. And we're going to do it Tuesday mornings at 8 a.m. I'm going to host it. And we're just inviting anybody who wants to come and be a part of that prayer time to come and to participate and be together and pray, intercede for our church and for our community. You do have to register for this. And part of that just because we need to be super careful about security on Zoom. We just don't want anybody popping in and doing something untoward while we're praying. And so you need to register once for this, and then you'll be given a secure link, password protected and all of that. And you'll be able, once you register once, you'll be able to come to the prayer meetings every Tuesday. And so the way to register for that is to go to hbc.info/morningprayer, hbc.info/morningprayer. And you can register for this time. And I'm looking forward to meeting with a bunch of people on Tuesday morning, 8 a.m.
Tuesday at 8. All right.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
please make sure that you go and sign up for that, hbc.info slash morning prayer. You can sign up. Once you've signed up, you can go every Tuesday. And,
Yep.
and we hope you will, and invite others to join you too. Well, listen, Pastor Todd, we have had such a great response to the Ruth series. Everyone felt that it was so timely and just ministered a lot of grace and encouragement to us as a church family. That was so great. And then we just came off Easter, Good Friday, Easter, which was fantastic. And so Sunday's coming, and you have a new teaching series coming this Sunday. What's that about?
Yeah, and this is a series that we had planned out, I think, a year ago when I did my my prep for the coming year. It was designed to be a post-Easter series where we would have a bunch of guests who would come to Easter, and we would invite them to come to this little 4-week series that we call Conversations with Jesus. And the idea was to look at some, like we would say, were really important topics that it would just be awesome to get Jesus' view on these particular topics, because they're things that everybody has an opinion about. And so I've invited, this young punk that preaches here, Jordan Chorus, you know that kid?
I know that kid.
Yeah. Anyways, I've asked him to actually join me in this series and to preach it. So the series is called Conversations with Jesus. And the thing is that people, again, have so many different ideas about who Jesus is. Some people think he was a nice man who had some nice things to say. Some believe he was a wise teacher. He founded one of the world's great religions. Other people pay no mind at all to Jesus. They don't think he was anything at all. And if you're to talk to 10 people, the reality is you get 10 different opinions about who Jesus really is. And sadly, even from those who profess faith in Jesus, you might get some really skewed ideas about who he is, what he teaches, and what he was all about. And it's critical that we know who Jesus is, because what we believe about him and what we do with him, if I can put it that way, what he taught, what he did, all of that actually determines our eternal destiny. That's a pretty important thing to decide. And throughout his life and ministry, Jesus' interactions with the people around him just broke the mold. The kind of conversations that he had with people really got their attention. And it's from those conversations that we discover the true identity of Jesus. There was no one like him. In the Gospels, we discover his divinity, in the healings and the casting out of demons, his lordship in forgiving sins and declaring, I'm the way, the truth, and the life. His authority in the things that he taught. He finished the Sermon on the Mount, and the scripture says that people were astounded with his teaching, because he taught as one who had authority and not like their teachers. And Jesus was fully God, fully man, and in his life and his teachings and examples, that's what we're called to follow. So we need to listen to him. We need to have a conversation with Jesus. We need to listen to him. He's not just another man. He's not just a wise teacher. He's not just another king. He was and he is the Son of God who came to help and heal us. And so this is really an opportunity for us to listen in on 7 conversations that he had and learn something from that.
So Todd, you and Jordan are going to just kind of take us to those conversations. And what's cool about that is when you watch somebody interact with somebody else, you can learn a lot about them. And what's amazing to me is that so many of the questions that people had back then, people still have today. And so we're going to learn a lot about life today and truth through these conversations. So we're gonna kind of listen in as Jesus talks to people about religion and self-sufficiency and morality, temptation. That's a big one. Partiality, or actually racism, I guess, and authority, peace. And as he has these conversations with people like Nicodemus or the rich young ruler or the Samaritan woman, we're gonna get an insight into who Jesus is and truth that he has for us today in the questions that we're asking, in the conversations that actually we're having with people, and sometimes that we have ourselves, and wish we could talk to Jesus about. And so this is going to be great. Like you said, you're sharing them with Jordan. And
Jordan's going to preach 3 of the messages, and he said I could take the other 4. So it was nice of him, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Well,
now, but you have to join the live stream every week on Sunday morning, 9:45. You need to join the live stream to see who's actually preaching. We're not going to tell you who's preaching which messages. And invite someone you know to join you, especially if you know some people that are wondering about Jesus and haven't yet, crossed the line of faith to come into a relationship with Christ. Invite them to come if they have questions and are seeking, because I think this is going to be hugely beneficial. And even if they don't join the live stream, of course, the full services and the messages are available on demand afterwards. And so all of that's available, and send out the links and post it on social media and all of that. So we think this is going to be a really impactful service, and we really invite people to a series and invite people to pray to that end.
right on. So if you want more detail about the schedule, it doesn't say who's preaching, but it does have the weeks and when each topic is being addressed, and you may want to know that to invite people. You
Right.
can get that detail on the published version of the EB that is coming out tomorrow. We'll be publishing this, and so make sure that you grab that, and it's probably sent to your inbox, right? So, well,
Right.
last call for any questions. We have shared a whole bunch of stuff with you. You can catch up on all of this, of course, as we say, through the published version. And we hope that you're excited about some of the things we've shared. So,
Yeah, and that's it. That's it for this week. We look forward to being with you in worship this coming Sunday. Remember, the lobby opens at 9:45 a.m. Jordan's going to be hosting, which might be a clue as to who's actually preaching the first message in the series. I'm not sure, but Jordan is hosting, and don't forget the confinement challenge this week that Jordan's going to take us to see the results of that. It was the sweater challenge. How many sweaters can you wear? I've heard the number for the winning is ridiculous. I've heard it's absolutely outlandishly ridiculous. So I can't wait to see who that was
amazing.
and what the number of sweaters was. So
Amazing. I'm looking forward to joining you on the chat on the live stream Sunday morning. It'll be great to see you. Thanks for joining us here. You are loved.
you're loved.